Welcome back to the channel. So today what I'm going to walk through is our journey from starting this new business at zero in January to last month clearing £210,000 in a month. And I'm going to walk you through the key things that I think that's allowed us to achieve this success, because for me, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, I feel like that's really, really rapid growth. And I think there's a lot of lessons that you can take from that maybe, you know, not at this scale, but that you can take and put into your own business that's really going to help you move forward. And I'm going to talk you through maybe some of the things that I did, why I did it, if it's relevant for you, or maybe what I would do differently in a fitness business, like at that level, and kind of what steps I put in place in order to make it happen. Okay, so I think the best place to start with this is I didn't do this on my own, all right? I'm not a super genius. I think I'm pretty clever, but I'm not a super genius by any stretch of the imagination. I'm definitely not a one-man band. And when I first went to launch this, I went and got help from someone else who'd done it. So I searched the internet. I watched a million YouTube videos. Without being tight, I didn't think anyone that I knew in the UK was good enough to help me with this problem. I've met a lot of people in the industry and I've been very underimpressed by most of them. That's not a personal thing. It's just nobody had done what I wanted to do that quickly and at that scale. One of the people that I found that had done it and that had that rapid growth was Tanner Chidester in the US. So I got in touch with Tanner. I got on a call with Gentry, who's his brother, joined the program, upgraded from the program into their top level program because I wanted to kind of work with them directly. And that's the kind of initial step that I put in place in order to scale this as fast as we did. And their help's invaluable because every kind of problem that I ran into, any kind of bottleneck that I hit, I never needed to sit there and struggle and waste time. And would I have would I have made it to 200 grand a month plus? Yeah. Would I have done it in 11 months? Absolutely not, because I would have taken 2-3 months to solve each problem, finding the solution, testing the solution, probably doing the wrong one a couple of times, having to go back and start again. So having that kind of scaffold of, look, every time this happened to us, this is what we did and this is how we fixed it, was massive for me. It also saved loads of time in doing things that I'd never done before. So I'd never scaled out a sales team. I'd never had a sales team. I've always done my own sales calls. Even at GRT, I was doing all of the sales calls. I never had a closer. Okay. Now we've got 2 closers, both with incredible closing percentages, like 70% plus. We've got a lead gen team that books, between 30 and 40 calls a week, just off organic outbound reach, like literally just messaging people and booking calls. And I don't think I'd have been able to put those teams in place without their help, because they've scaled and trained and hired teams like that multiple times over. And I think kind of in the last 12 months, I've kind of worked with 2 iterations of that. Like there was Kim's messaging team and sales team that had it first. Now it's like Yasser and Gentry that are running it. And through both of those processes, I've kind of picked up new things and learnt new things. And we go over there twice a year as well to kind of meet up with them in person and get some kind of hands-on help. And each time we've come back, we've always kind of taken a big leap forward. So that to me was the first thing that I did. That's why I can quite happily sit here and always say to people, I think you should get on the program. I think you should do a business. But like, even if it's not ours, just think you should get help with things, because like you don't know what you don't know. And I'd come from already having £1 million business in fitness, but it was clunky. It was a little bit disjointed. There was revenue in different places. It wasn't very streamlined. And I didn't see where I could, I probably wasn't going to get from, I probably could now, with what I know now, go back and do it, but we'll pass that stage. But I don't think I was going to be able to go from 1 million to 2 million with the way that I'd set that business up. I'd set it up like I'd walk myself into a cul-de-sac almost with it. Whereas with this, this is just the start. We've got scope to do, 700-800K a month with the team that we've got now, which is mad. And I would have ran myself into a hole, I think, and got myself trapped at certain revenue targets without being like, oh, don't do that because that's going to happen if you do that. Why don't you do this instead? And that kind of level of support was really, really useful. The next thing I did was I understood that getting this off the ground and getting it to a level that I needed it to quickly was going to require 2 things of me. It was going to require a hell of a lot of time and energy, to the point where my schedule for January and February was literally wiped clean. Okay. It was completely just nothing. I got up 3 hours earlier in the morning, every single morning. So I did 12-hour days, most days, Monday to Friday. And I don't work weekends because I've just got a thing. I used to work weekends when I was a teacher and I just fucking refuse to now. But I worked 12 hours a day. And the extra 3 hours a day that I added onto my schedule was for building resources. Okay, it was for building out our training portal. It was for research. It was for looking at where we could get the best help. It was doing trainings myself. It was doing courses myself. And then it was condensing that all into the trainings that our clients would need. And that meant that I could scale and take on clients very, very quickly because I wasn't just sitting down and feeding everyone every bit of information. And in our first month, we went from 0 to 100K month one. And I would have never been able to take on that many clients in that space of time without building that resource area first. Now, for coaches, unless you have a very big name in the industry already, that's unlikely to happen to you. So obviously, I had a lot of coaches that followed me already because of how big I grew my fitness business. I was quite relatively well known in the industry, I would think. It might be blowing my own trumpet, but I think that's what helped. And I had a lot of connections with people in kind of other sectors that when I started launching this program, there was already a lot of eyes on it. Now, people don't usually get that leg up. I got that leg up, to be fair, because I spent 3 years building what I thought was quite an impressive business beforehand. So obviously there was some legwork involved in getting that. But because we already had that much attention and we already had that many people wanting business help from me to start with, as soon as we had an offer that we could open the doors for, it just kind of flooded through. You potentially don't need to have that step right now in your fitness business. Maybe if you've got, a massive following or you've got a lot of lead flow, then fair enough. But that's just what worked for me, getting that resource build done first that allowed us to scale our process out because, we were taking on clients, like 2 clients a day at some point and like having to onboard them and getting all the systems set up. It just really, really helped having that tech resource there to just guide people through the process without me having to do it hand by hand. The next thing that we did that allowed us to scale this quickly was I was seeing more money in my bank account than I'd ever seen before. We'd never cracked 100K a month with fitness. We did that month one with this offer. Okay, went straight through 100K the first month. I was quite lucky that I'd earned very good money before, like obviously through the fitness business. So I didn't get over giddy with it. All right, I paid myself exactly the same as I've always paid myself. I still pay myself the same as I've always paid myself when I was earning 30 grand a month, 50 grand a month, 70 grand a month, 100 grand. I pay myself the same. And that meant that I could then reinvest that money back into staff. And there's a couple of things that I did with this that I think has allowed us to scale even faster. The first thing that we did was we got staff early. There were certain members of staff that we brought in because they were the right people, even before we really had the need for them, because I needed to get them in the company. I needed to start putting those roots in now. The second thing we did is we went and got people that were already established, that are already very good at their job and were already close to the top of the industry. Shannon had a massive business herself. Simon had a very good business himself. Joe had a very good business himself. All of our staff that, Stu had a very good sales business himself. Like all of our staff that we brought in key positions, we paid a lot for because we had to take them away from what they were currently doing. But then because that happened, I didn't have a massive training burden on my shoulders for each one of these members of staff. So I could have done it cheaper. I could have got guys that I'd already worked with. I could have got friends that I knew, all of that stuff, and brought them in. But I would have had to train every single member of staff up to the level of quality that I needed to. And that would have taken months. Okay. It probably would have been a 3 to 6 month process to get each individual to the level that I needed. And because we went and got people that were already established already, it meant that plug and play system was a lot faster. I didn't need to teach them the skills. I just needed to teach them the way that we did it, which is a much shorter process and got us off the ball. Now, it still came with teething issues like all staff issues do, but having access to their audiences, access to their knowledge base that they had already, and their level of skill and competence at the role allowed us to scale to the point where it was worth paying those wages, even if we had to take it on the chin for a couple of months, because now it's paid off in profit for us. And that's allowed us obviously to get here a lot faster than we normally would. So the staff and the team building procedure is something that made a massive difference to us, is that we weren't afraid to hire. We weren't afraid to hire quickly, and we weren't afraid to hire early. And we paid very good salaries to people to make sure that we got the best quality candidates in. And I would put my team up against anyone else's in the world now, genuinely, because they are that good. Like, we have industry leaders in every single department because we've gone out and we found them. And we'll always continue to do it that way, because I just feel like it adds to the quality of the product, and it always pays off no matter what the payroll is. So that's the key with team building, is don't hire cheap. Don't be afraid to hire early and then work your way into it. This is obviously assuming that you've got steady cash flow in the business, but definitely the right people at the wrong time is better than the wrong person at the right time, if that makes sense. So we took those steps when we needed them, because I'd already scaffolded out, right, these are the people we're going to need. And when the right person came along, I was like, fuck it, we're not quite there yet, but I need that person in that role instead of getting someone else later down the line. So that was one thing that helps us scale really quickly as well. Now, we wouldn't have been able to scale like this if we didn't get really good results for our clients. And that's the next thing I want to touch on, okay? The level of detail and the level of support and the level of work that we put into each and every client, I've never seen in another coaching program. And that's not blowing my own trumpet, because to be honest with you, I don't do a lot of it. I do a lot of training. I do a lot of like building out resources. I do a lot of teaching, but it's the extended team that put the graft in, day out with the clients. And there's two things that I'm really proud of with our client results. We get people like results that they never thought they were going to. Like, we take people from 3K to 7K in 60 days. We take people from 5K to 12K in, the space of a couple of months. We take people from, 5 and 6K, 7K up to like 18, 19, 20,000 pound routinely. Like, that happens every single day in our program. I have to sit, when I do a post on like, here's a client result, I have to sit and go through about, 7 or 8 different options for every single post, because that's how fast we're churning these things out. Like, we are almost clockwork for getting people to 10K, which, if you think about it, is fucking ridiculous, because that's like a $100,000 a year job like that, which is mad. But we do. And that's one of the things that's allowed us to scale really well, because then we can put certain guarantees and promises on our product that mean that basically it's a no-brainer. So we have a guarantee that if you sign up and you do the work, so you meet the requirements that we say, like, coming to the trainings, doing your check-ins with your coach, like actually, doing the prerequisites that we said you need to do to grow your business, which we talk about through on consultation calls. We tell them what's required. If you do what's required and you don't make a profit on the program, we'll give you the rest of the money back. So if you pay us, for example, like $8,000, and you don't make $8,000, we'll give you the money back. So there's literally no risk, which means that we've allowed to get people in and get it moving. The other thing that I think we're really good at is, because of my teaching background and because everybody in the program has been a high-level coach previously, we get results with people that maybe other people wouldn't get results with. We coach really well. We have people who have severe dyslexia making £6,000-7,000 a month on an online platform that includes writing and fucking reading and talking to people. That's, that's not just on us, that's on them, like doing really hard work and working around their own limitations. Just imagine that in any other job, like struggling to read and write and then being an online business owner and making that kind of money is mad for me. We get people that have never even done online training before, but have a PT qualification and like doing social media, and they come in and they go from £0 to £7,000 in like 40 days. We have people coming straight out of university and outperforming and out earning every single friend that they've got, no matter what degree they've got. Doctors, lawyers, fucking inheritance trust fund kids, like all of it. And it's absolutely bonkers. And again, that's not like me saying I'm brilliant. That's a combination of me having the right vision, the team putting some graft in, and us having the right help from obviously Tanner that we spoke about before. It's a combination of all of that. But the outcome of it has been ridiculousness. And if you go on our Instagram page and you scroll through, it's just person after person making life-changing money. And that's obviously allowed us to scale. If people paid us and then they got fuck all out of it, like we wouldn't scale because it wouldn't happen. But we have people that refer 6 and 7 friends to us at a time because all their friends are all PTs and look at them and thinking, how the fuck are you making 10 grand a month? And they go, oh, you know, do this program. Of course people are going to go on it, especially with a guarantee. It's like printing money. So that I think was a massive, massive difference for us. And that's something you hear me talk about a lot. Like marketing is easy when you produce results. Like sales is easy when you produce results. Like it's much. Listen, if you're a good salesman and you're a good market, you can sell a shit product, okay? But it's much, much easier if you have a brilliant product because a poor salesperson, poor marketing can sell it anyway because the product sells itself. And if you've got 2 of those together and you've got a great sales team, good marketing, and a great product, that's how we've been able to go from 0 to 210K in the time period we have, because we've, through some fucking divine intervention, we've managed to get all 3 of those in one within the first 12 months of us, being a program, which I think has put us at a massive advantage towards other people. And the last bit I think that's allowed us to scale, which probably should have been at the start, because I think obviously the results is the most important, but I think the level and depth of content that we put out has massively, massively allowed us to scale quickly. We get people that message us that are like, I can't move from seeing you. I can't open my computer. I can't open my emails without getting something for you. So like our media team is fairly robust, right? We've got Simon who does all our content filming. There's a full-time editor. There's Josh who does all our copy and emails. We've got Joe who works on all the systems and setups and stuff like that. And we've got Sean who builds all our pages and things like that. Does graphics, and then we've got Otis who actually like schedules everything and makes everything work and ties it all together. That's an extensive team, right? That means that we're able to put out. And we've got Jacob at Liverpool Podcast Studios as well, and Rebecca who makes sure Simon actually turns up to work. Simon, if you don't know Simon very well, Simon would forget to like brush his teeth every morning if Rebecca didn't tell him to. He's definitely left his baby in places before and just walked off. He's the most Have you done that with your dog? So if he forgets his own dog, like I couldn't breathe without remembering where Nero is. So if he can forget his own dog, that just shows you the level of depth. So Rebecca is like, basically she does Simon's job for him, and then she's also his minder, and he just takes all the credit. But what we can now do because of that team is we can put out 3 YouTube videos a week. We can film 6 podcasts a month. We can send out 3 emails every single week. We can post 3 times a day on social media. We can keep on top of stories. We have a Facebook group with nearly 2,000 members in it that we post content in that nobody else looks at. If you want a link to that, just go below. It's brilliant for coaches. And the whole team posts in there and gives value. We're able to build out lead magnets better and faster than anyone else. Our free business builder workshop is better than anything that you'll pay for. Genuinely, it's free. If you've bought anything that's under £5,000 that's better than that course, tell me and I'll find our way to make it better. Genuinely. Again, I'll put the link below for that. The stuff that we can build and the level that we can work at and the speed that we can get stuff out there, just nobody can keep up with it. Nobody can compete with that level. Like we're putting out content at the same level as full-time content creators are, like full-time YouTubers, like people who make millions from their channels. We're working at the same clip as them, which means that literally people can't get away from us. So you're either going to very, very quickly realize that you don't want to work with us or do work with us. But, having 10 hours of constant monitoring on the social media, replying to people every single day, the combination of those things has allowed us to organically make this money. I've spent the whole year £7,000 on ads, and that whole $7,000 has just gone straight into just pointing people to the business builder. That's it. That's all we've paid. So everything realistically is organic, and that's all from just very, very basics. We've never done a front launch. We're probably looking at doing one this month. We've never run a free challenge. We've never fucking done a webinar. We've never put on a live event to sell. We've never done any of that. All we've done is posted content and spoken to people, give them lead magnets to build trust with them and sign them up to the program, which is mad. And I think that's one of the things that's allowed us to scale so quickly, is just because of the sheer amount of value we can put out. Because the more value you put out, then the more realistically you're allowed to make sales for your program. Like, you can't just sell because it'll put people off. All right. So your sales has to be like, you have to be like, I don't know, 5-to-1 almost. 5 times value, 1 time sale. 5 times value, 1 time sale. But because we can put out 500 value, we can put out 100 sale. And it just allows us to keep that ratio in our favor and make the amount of sales that we've needed to make these numbers. But that's kind of a breakdown of what I think the most important parts are. For coaches themselves, there's probably a lot of mindset and personal growth things. I'm just a business robot. I'm probably not the best person to kind of go through that with you, because I understand that growing a business to that scale comes with personal challenges. I'm very lucky that my lifestyle at home is basically like, all I have to do is get up and brush my teeth, get in the shower, and then start work and finish work. All my food's cooked for me. Everything's done for me. My washing's done for me. The house is tidied for me. Everything. I could probably get someone to eat for me if I wanted to. I'm very, very, this is what I want to do. Okay. This is my singular goal of making the biggest impact I can on the coaching industry with this business. So I don't have time for distractions and stuff like that. I'm aware that as a coach, if you're wanting to scale this business, like, there are some kind of mental and personal and kind of lifestyle issues that you may want to look at, but that's outside the scope of this video. But for pure business tactics and things, those are the things that I think have allowed us to do that. So just to remind you, if you're a coach looking to kind of start something like this, or you've kind of got ambitions of doing it, make sure you join the Facebook group, because that's a really good community full of people that are trying to do the same thing as you. It's quite a lonely job at times. And then make sure that you download the Business Builder as well, because that's going to give you all the starting kind of skills and tactics that you need to get this off the ground. If you enjoyed that, please leave us a comment. I tried to not make it a wanky video about how much money you made, but you know that the titles sell the videos. You've got to play the game. But hopefully there's a lot of value in there as well. Make sure you subscribe to the videos and click the notification icon so you get told every time we do a new one.